Time it is. Bird. All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahuah HaMashiach this day. Pick it up in the 5th chapter of John in the 39th verse. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Psalms 139.
You got attitude like something like that. You sure?
139 and 14. Don't look at me, cuz. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that your soul might know right well. My substance was not hid from you when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes did see my substance, yet being imperfect, and in your book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious also are your thoughts unto me, O Elohim, how great is the sum of them. If I shall count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Surely you will slay the wicked, O Elohim. Depart from me, you therefore, you bloody men. For they speak against you wickedly, and your enemies take your name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Yahuah, that hate you? And am I not grieved with those that rise up against you? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O Elohim, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. And if there be any wicked way in me, lead me in the way of everlasting. Who recalls what that, if there's any wicked way in me, what that translated to? Do you remember? You looking around. Why you don't remember? I bet you remember your doggone corny rap nigga lyrics, though. I don't know. Pick one. All them niggas corny parts, I'm saying. I seen a nigga put gold chains in his head, man. Talking about that was his hair. Shalom. I'm not being funny. Dead serious. Nigga really got gold chains implanted in his head for his hair. He was. He's not even American. I don't know who that nigga is. Y'all don't remember what that means? No. Not for the wicked way. That it wasn't sorrow and pain. You might want to look it up then. You ought to be paying attention versus around there playing with that. While I fold up the rolls on your neck. You want the rolls folded up on your neck? Yeah, you want the rolls folded up on your neck. Jeremiah James Bird, that's what you want. Come over here and come get you some, Bird. You're going to walk over here. You're going to limp back. It's going to be me and you. Me and you. I'm going to put trademarks on your butt. Darkness. Oh, darkness. No, that shouldn't say darkness. It should tell you that it means worry or anxiety. What verse I'm in? Hold on. And that verse 24 in Psalms 139. If there be any wicked way, it should translate to anxiety.
This one, Bruce is pain. Mine said too.
Mine said pain. Where it was? And that's gone. But nevertheless, we'll roll with that. You're looking at pain and sorrow, right? There's a reason why we're going to focus on this one here, right? We're going to focus on this one here based off of the clip of a video that E shared. Do you know what goes into a kingdom? To establish a kingdom. A kingdom, yes. A king What are some of the, how does one become a king? I will allow it. So you can't pick a king. You're born a king. What's some of the things that a king would need to do in his kingdom? Create war. That's part of it. It come across. But he doesn't necessarily have to have war to create. But usually that's going to happen. War. Yeah, war. Rulership. So this is what we're going to do. What will we do for you? What will we do for you? What would we do for you? How can we help you? I mean, you came over here. How may we help you? Oh, you came over here to eat. Why did you come over here to do that? Why are you hungry?
Because I didn't eat anything but peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, you just ate that thing. Or you're still famished. Psalm 22. We get to Psalms 33 in a minute. Psalm 22 and 22. You know what? We'll just run it all the way down. Go to verse 1, man. Psalm 22 and 1.
Come on, Mom.
That's not a sandwich. That's cheese.
I ate a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
You're a cheesehead.
Here, please.
Psalm 22 and 1. My Elohim, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Well, clearly y'all know what that is. Y'all know what this is, correct? We don't need to go into that in depthly, do we? The stark silence is telling me differently. I hope that that's not the case, because I very well may motor on from it and leave you. And I don't know. You telling me, or you asking me? You didn't say that with much confidence. On the stake, doing what? Where you find that at? Matthew, where? At least you're honest. Matthew 22 and 2. Say, oh, my Elohim, I cry in the daytime, but you hear not, and in the night season am not silent. Who knows what that means? If he cried for him in the daytime, when did he cry for him? And when was he not silent in the night season? Now you look stuck. You look like you wanted to answer. Now you changed your mind. Eric, you got an answer for that?
The daytime, that's when being on the stage, right?
Yeah, I thought that'd be easy for you. Elohim, he cried out in the daytime and he wasn't heard. But when was he not silent in the night? This stuff easy now. I'm trying to set you up. I'm talking about it's an easy completion. Wide receiver screen. Hey, Lil Joe, you finna get beat?
Yeah.
Joe sounded like somebody abusing him. Y'all don't know when he was not silent in the night season? That's pretty easy too.
The night season, that's not great.
Oh, no. Night season is night season. Simply nighttime. You know what the word for night is, don't you? Yeah, nighttime, that's all. He wasn't silent that night. Oh, I thought y'all would get this one here, no problem. Clearly, I'm sadly mistaken. Anybody on the stream got any idea? Because they don't know over here.
Night season.
So when was he not quiet? He said he was not silent. He said in the night season, am not silent. So that is Doom Yah, still waiting. Slow, man. Trust, silence, silent, wait, abstractly quiet. So in the night season, he was patiently waiting. What does that mean? I'm just asking you to elaborate. These are very. Did y'all teachers and professors allow y'all to get by with such general and bland and broad answers? I'm just asking y'all. Y'all the ones who furthered your education.
Oh, you got it right on the tip. Yeah, I said that in class.
I can understand. Y'all probably had a lot of people in the classroom.
Yeah.
You can't talk to all y'all. And they say they pay me tenure anyway. I don't care if you niggas graduate. I get paid regardless.
I guess that's just him in the garden. Him in the garden, not being quiet, praying.
No, that's when you went to pray. Not my will be done. Your will be done. Let's continue. Verse 3. He said, but you are Kadash, O you that inhabited the praise of Yasharal. Our fathers trusted in you. They trusted in you, did deliver them. Well, when did that happen? He's making the statement, so you need to know the point of reference of the statement, not just read the statement and keep on going. What is the point of reference of the statement? Our fathers trusted in you, and you delivered them. They cried unto you and were delivered. They trusted in you and were not confounded. That's easy. Again, this is a wide receiver screen. And brought them out of Egypt. Remember, confounded is boosh. They were not put to shame. They were not disappointed. Remember, they trusted in him. How did it? What did he ask them to do? He asked them to put the blood on them doorposts, did he not? And he said what would pass over them if they did so?
Yeah.
The destroyer. Did the destroyer not pass over? Did the Egyptians not? Did they not? Does it not read in Exodus chapter 2 that they cried unto him and he heard them and had respect unto them? Very well then. Verse 6, but I am a worm and no man. Now you got to understand why he's making this statement. It's in juxtaposition to his current state. Because he said he cried out for deliverance, and what happened to him? He was not heard. He's saying, I'm being put to shame. Versus these people cried out, and they were not put to shame. So you have to pay attention to the juxtaposition of what he's saying. He said, I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. Well, what does this mean when he says he's a worm? Tolah. Do y'all remember what this means? Scarlet stuff. Crimson, scarlet, worm. Why is crimson important? What color is scarlet? What color is crimson? That's blood. He's a blood and he's no man. No man here. Just being a person, not no man. He's just saying I'm a worm and a man. I'm dishonored of men. I'm despised of people. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip. They shake the head, saying he trusted on Yahuah that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. Of course, y'all know what that is. I would hope. But you are he that took me out of the womb, and you did make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. Now, see, we were talking to Little Muffin about this earlier, in this regard. And then what was it about? What was it about? No, it was about Adam. What were we talking about Adam? You remember? His mother was the ground. You know, Adam had no father and no mother. Is that correct? You're looking like you're confused. He had no father and no mother in the human sense. No father, no mother. No woman gave birth to Adam. No man gave birth to Adam. The earth gave birth to Adam. And Yahuah made Adam. So in effect, the reason why I'm mentioning this here, because would it be safe to say? Would it be safe to say? And I need a scriptural answer, specific as possible. Broad generalities need not apply. Is Adam a king? And if he is a king, what would you use to prove that he's a king? And if he's not a king, what would you use to disprove that he was a king? That he was not a king, excuse me. Y'all got a lot going on. Y'all need a V8? Huh? You need a V8? You look like you're upset. Somebody took your lunch money?
They come back.
That's open for y'all on this chat.
Yahuah.
Is Adam a king? Yes or no? No, now you have to prove it. You have to prove it. You got to prove that. That's not proof. It's proof.
He a king, and scripture-wise, he gave him dominion over everything.
That what you would think?
Yes, absolutely.
How do we know that? Huh?
I was literally looking it up, but I knew I was going to say that because, yeah, what he said.
What he said? I think you cheat.
You said what?
I think you cheat.
I was looking it up.
I think y'all looking on each other's paper. I want you to come over here to Genesis 1:26. I want you to come look at the word dominion. Radah. Raj, Dalit, and Hay. And that is to have rule and to have dominion. So it means that Adam was a king because he had rulership and dominion. Now, one of the things that you would have to do for a king. I'm talking about his subjects, his servants. What would a subject and servant of a king do towards a king? To show your reverence, to show your respect. What would you need to do?
Be obedient.
You have to bring gifts. Now let's look at Genesis chapter 4. And let's see how that works. See, this is, I said, this really coincides with what we were talking about last night on the regards of the ability of the subject to serve. See, most people want the benefits of a kingdom without operating in the kingdom or have the nerve. Because, see, you used to live in America, and that's why you do this here. Or you come in the kingdom and you try to tell the king how to run his kingdom. Like if you didn't build the kingdom, you can't tell them how to run it. If you're not doing the labor and to maintain the kingdom, you can't tell him how to run it. Because, and I'm using this as a point. I want to frame my words here. I'll allow that one there with the son of a king, but to say the son of a king, you would need a scriptural verse to justify that Yahuah is a king, and you can't go in the New Testament for it. There is a passage for it, but you need justification for it. I'm trying to get you to get to the point of having to justify your answers scripturally and not just say them out loud and think that that's just enough. Because you would need to know why you're saying that according to the scripture. That way that reinforces why you believe it versus just saying an answer. Now, what I was finna mention in the regards of setting and building the kingdom and maintaining it. Most of us have never, you live in America, right? So you have a right to say what's wrong with the government, do you not? Do you have the ability to vote people out of office and say, I don't like these policies and things of that sort? You can't do that in a monarchy. In a monarchy, what you think doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I'm mentioning this here because what do black people like to walk around and say they is all the time? Don't call each other niggas, call each other kings. Well, you don't know what it is to be a king. And to be a king, that takes something. And most kings are not going to be well liked by everybody because kings have to rule. And I was mentioning last night, a queen does not rule unless the king is not present. Therefore, a woman can't say she's a queen unless she's married to a king. You're not a queen on your own. You're only a queen by product of your father or your husband being the king. If your father's a crackhead, you ain't no queen. If your father work at Publix, you ain't no queen. You're a commoner. And you can never elevate to that status unless you marry someone in the royal family. Now, see, we have went from being commoners to being the wife of a king because you're able to marry the king. You can actually become the son and daughter of a king because before that, you were just the son of Adam or the son of Jacob. See, that's what it was, what I was talking to her about. She said that she was a human. When you say you are human, do you know what theoretically, in actuality, what you're actually saying? Do any of you young men in here know what it means when you say I'm a human? What are you actually saying? Any of you gentlemen on the stream, when you say you're a human, what are you actually saying? Ah, you looking like you've given consideration to this. You said emotional? Oh, no. Oh, you're way out the ballpark. You didn't even buy a ticket. It ain't that deep. Very, very simplistic answer, actually. Y'all don't know what it means when you're saying that you're a human? By strict definition, what are you saying? Because, see, Muffin said person, but a person is an adverb. So when you say you're human, what are you saying? Do you have an idea? No. You're going too far. What about you?
That's a creature.
You say a creature? That's one of the definitions.
What?
Creature, but
Yeah, that's what yeah.
But that's not. I'm not even for human. I'm talking about I'm talking about when you're saying you're a human. What you're actually saying, creature could be a definition of. But when you're saying you're human, you're saying that you are Adam. So when you look at the definition of Adam, that's what it's going to say. And who is Adam? What by strict Hebrew definition does Adam mean?
Mother Earth.
And man.
Right.
So when you say I'm a human, you saying you Adam, which means that you saying you are a son of Adam, which means you are the son of man. So when we turn around and you look at this and you saying you the son of man, that means you're not the son of a king. You're not the offspring of a king because you're the son of a man. Let me see this Psalms 47:1. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yes, that's verse 2. I will allow it, sir. I will allow it. So keep that in mind. What's the next page we need to slide to? Genesis chapter 4. That's what it was. Let's look at the first time they come to bring gifts, and let's see what happens. We'll take that track first because we already back that way and dealing with a king. It said Adam knew his wife. She conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have got the man from Yahuah. She bare his brother Abel. Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was the tiller of the ground. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahuah. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And Yahuah had respect unto Abel and unto his offering. Now, you know, fat, Caleb, you know that means he brought the best part. Now, are they bringing an offering? Now, y'all know what happened. Whose offering was rejected? Oh, y'all don't know whose offering was rejected? That's sad. Who said can't? Your lips ain't even moved. Who's the we? Why ain't nobody hearing? You heard him? You heard Shayla?
I did.
Y'all niggas must be back there whispering to each other. Cain got rejected. That doggone PayPal be raping niggas, boy.
I hate that, though. I hate using PayPal.
No, the dude tried to send me the bread. I'm like, shoot, that nigga might need. He told me I don't have no good luck with Zelle. We need to try that again. Oh, give me a second. I'm back. So, with Cain's offering being rejected, why was it rejected? He didn't bring his best. Now, let's take this case to this point. That's just going to come from this video. What is one way that kings display their power? What is a way that kings display their power? With their who? Garments? No. But I understand why you would say that. It's a part of that answer. but I understand why you would say that. What is a way that kings display their power? Because we're taking a deep dive on something that this dude said, and we're going to dissect everything that he said and see does the script back it up. Not to say that he was saying anything that was scripturally incorrect, because he didn't say anything that was scripturally incorrect, but he didn't give great detail. Would you say that he gave great detail? Miles Monroe.
Yeah, he did.
I'm talking about scriptural wise, not just him talking.
No. Not scriptural wise at all.
So what is one of the ways that a king displays their power? What is the number one way? Let's put it that way. What, if you were playing Family Feud and you had to get the number one answer on the board, what is the number one way that a king displays his power? That means you're going to have to pause and think about kingdoms that you are aware of, and what's the number one way that they display their power? They look like they stumped. Kira says military power and armies. No. They command? No. Now, dictatorship is a form of government rule. See, you can be a dictator and not be a king. See, Saddam Hussein was a dictator. See, a dictatorship, for those of you who don't know, is one person rule. Usually military rule, but it's one person rule. Joseph Stalin was a dictator. Benito Mussolini was a dictator. Yes. Adolf Hitler was a dictator. That's what they kept trying to say with Trump, that he was trying to be a dictator, because dictators answer to no one. Then you have despot rule, which is still not a monarchy, something different. A despot is usually someone who is of military rule as well. Somebody who you could call despotic rule, which was also could be called a dictatorship, was Fidel Castro. You know who that is, don't you? You don't know who Fidel Castro is?
Fidel.
Wowzers.
I am Fidel.
That's in your lifetime.
I am Fidel.
It is. He's the dude who ran Cuba.
Hey, why you
He just died.
Why you
Oh, thank you.
Sit your behind down. Come up there, tonight.
It said decrees, Melissa said laws, but it's wealth. A king displays his power through wealth. Would anybody respect a king who was poor? No. How many kings that you know of through history didn't have wealth? Let's take a look at something with King Solomon. What is it? 1 Kings chapter 4. Before we get to talking about dealing with the Lord with it. What was that? 1 Kings chapter 2.
Leave the light on. The light to the bathroom on. The light on. I got you. Elijah.
I might have been right the first time.
Be quiet.
That nigga barking like he a real guard dog. That nigga ain't gonna bite nobody. Well, he bite niggas where he bite him out on the ankles. He trying to get the guard dog bark out there. That dog say he a lover, not a fighter. Who that is? That little Johnny?
I'll be hearing about this.
I think that's little Johnny. That's young Johnny. That's what his daddy called him. He called you that?
Definitely not.
I would have said, no. I know he didn't do that. 1 Kings chapter 3, man. I think that's what I want. 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 7. Now, of course, I think Miles Monroe in this video, he had his ace in his lifetime. How many of y'all know who Benny Hinn is? Who many of y'all used to watch Benny Hinn? Well, Mom, we know you know who Benny Hinn is. We talking about these young people.
Black and white a couple times.
You know, Benny Hinn renounced the prosperity gospel a couple years back. Benny Hinn used to be the dude that walk in there and touch people and they fall out in the floor. You know what I'm talking about? The little Indian cat. Y'all done seen Benny Hinn before. Y'all know y'all people used to be in there watching TVN. You be sitting right in there with them.
They had a commercial on Miracle Healing Water.
Miracle Healing Water. Your mama bought that water, Cleisha? She bought that water. You look like, yeah, I'm from New York. We buy that stuff all the time. We got the prayer rug. You don't know what the prayer rug is. Make it 3 and 5, man. First Kings 3 and 5. In Gibeon, Yahuah appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. Elohim said, ask what I shall give you. Solomon said, you have showed unto your servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before you in truth and righteousness and uprightness of heart with you. You have kept for him this great kindness that you have given him a son to sit on his throne as it is this day. Now let's pause. Let's deal with that. The king of Yasharal. Who was the first king of Yasharal? Oh, that's a trick question too. Who's the first king of Yasharal? You said David? No, sir. He said Moses. What you gonna do to prove that, son? That means your answer ain't valid.
I think it's a song, isn't it?
No, you think it's a song? Shoot, I don't know what you think.
Hey, come sit down.
It wasn't who? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. How you gonna prove that? Oh, that means y'all might need to figure that out, because it ain't Saul. It is Moses. How you gonna prove it though? You gonna tell a nigga son can't even prove it? How you gonna prove it?
Look.
I gotta hit you with an old nut. You told me. That mean you knew. Shoot, nigga. Let me see. He finna do some reconnaissance. That nigga a spy. He just spooked us at by the door. I told y'all that was a trick question. Anybody know where you can find that at? Would you like to give me a place where you can search it? Where in Deuteronomy? Because that don't tell me much. You said 32? 32 or 34? That don't tell me much. That's broad. I mean, I got it pulled up for you, but I want to see who can tell me what it is. I'll allow it, because that's what it says. Deuteronomy 33, verse 1. I'm asking this for a reason. If Moses is the first king, how did he become king? He came king because Yahuah chose him to be so. He chose him so. Who called for Moses in the burning bush? Yahuah called for him. That's how. So Yahuah chose him to be king. Though he wasn't birthed, because was there a kingly tribe at that time? No. What is the first king that you read in this text who's a servant of Yahuah outside of Adam? And what was he simultaneously? King and priest. That means Yahuah chose him to be king. So you have to come through that line. He was a ruler in Egypt, but he wasn't the king over Yasharal. So that's why that don't count.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Deuteronomy 33 and 1. This is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of Elohim, Baruch, the sons of Yasharal, before his death. He said, Yahuah came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran. He came with 10,000 of the faithful. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Y'all know what that's telling you about, right? Y'all don't know what that's telling you about? 10,000 saints, a fiery law. Oh, man, this stuff easy, man. The brother say, he healed a man's son with eye problems. The man went on the news and asked Benny Hinn to give his son's glasses back. Woo. You know, they used to do exposés on Dateline about that junk, about them people doing all that healing, and then the people would die afterwards. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the healing thing. That's junk crazy, man. But yeah, y'all don't know what that means, 10,000 of his saints fiery law? I promise we just read it last night. Yes. Just read that in the Epistle of Jude. Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in your hand. So you sat down at your feet. Everyone shall receive of your words. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. He was a king in Yeshurun when the heads of the people and the tribes of Yasharal were gathered together. That's your first king right there, because he is the one who had dominion and rule. Now here's the catcher. Where can you read where Yahuah established Moses to be king? Because it is in the text. Where can you read where Yahuah established Moses to be king? And it is in the text. Not on Sinai. He did it before Sinai. This is an easy one too. This is another wide receiver screen for you. Bubble screen, tunnel screen. Look at him. He like this here. He said, I remember that play in the playbook, coach, but I'm forgetting my route. You got to remember the route tree. You know about the route tree, don't you? Nah, nigga, you play linebacker. You don't look like you fleet of foot that's be in the route tree.
Nah, that boy run the route. I blocked the main screen.
Tight end, huh? That's where you was at?
Definitely was lineman, man.
Oh.
Then they say something about the reason why the Pharaoh said kill all the firstborn. Then he said something about this.
No, he said he refused to be called Pharaoh's son.
You know,
But
I'm talking about, like, so, you know, Moses rolled down the river. So the thing that caused Pharaoh to say kill all the sons so he could be put in jail.
Oh, this was before Moses was born. That was before Moses was born. And what that one is the midwife feared Yahuah and not Pharaoh and say, this is a proper child, so I ain't gonna kill him. I'm gonna go ahead and slide him down the river. But I will tell you, it is in the book of Exodus, where you can read where Yahuah established him to be the king and said it out his mouth. I'll narrow it down for you even further to cut your reading time down. You like that, don't you? That's why you looked up when you heard that. Yeah, you be telling stories on the weekends. You between chapters 1 and 4.
You got it in 3. It's in 3.
I don't know. You got to tell me. Somebody just said it was in 3. They said the burning bush. I'm gonna have to say that's a strong no. Hey, cuz, that's your phone, cuz? That's my phone, cuz. Get my phone, cuz. Get my phone, cuz. Where my money at, cuz? Yes. Yes, it is. He said that Moses would be as Elohim and Aaron would be his prophet. If he said he'll be as Elohim, what would that make him? That means he would have what? Dominion and rulership. Let's look and see. Exodus chapter 4. All I'm doing is to establish that in order to be a king in this kingdom, you understand? The kingdom of Elohim, because we were loosely talking about kingdoms yesterday, you have to be birthed into that. You don't get to choose and pick into that. Because remember, we done talked about this here. Well, did Yahuah choose Saul or did the people choose Saul? How did people choose Saul? How? Yes, how? No, they didn't pray for him. They asked for one. They outright say, give us a king like the nations to rule over us. So at that point, they had rejected, because remember, he said you already had a king. Yahuah was your king, and you rejected him. That's why the people caught the wreck that they caught in doing that, because you already had a king. So Yahuah said, I'm going to go ahead and suffice you and give you what you want. Because what you want ain't really what you need, and it really ain't what you want. Because remember, he told you what kind of king he would give you. You'd have to go read 1 Samuel 10 for that on your own time. He told you he'll take your daughters for confectionaries. Take your sons and make them movers of chariots. Take your wealth. You're going to get, you already had to give to the king. You just had to give to Yahuah. Now you got to give to the Yahuah and the king. See, they weren't ready for that. See, that's what happens when you get caught up in your desire, when you asking the person to rule over you, and then you want more and more and more according to what you want. Because he had something better for you, but you didn't want that. See, that's what's going to happen with people when they come down to the beast and Yahuah, but we getting that over. Just bear with me. Let me read the Exodus 4. Exodus chapter 4.
I'm trying to find it.
I'm trying to find the verse.
Me too. I feel like I read the whole verse, the whole chapter.
It's in there.
I believe it. I'm waiting for you to tell me.
I'm in about verse 10. Yeah, it's verse 16.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
I'm gonna pick it up at 10 though. Exodus 4 and 10. Joe, come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Okay, that's what we thought. Nothing wrong with you. You don't want to come sit over here with us. We see how you feel, Joe. And Moses said unto Yahuah, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore nor since you have spoken unto your servant. I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. Yahuah said unto him, Who have made man's mouth? Who make the dumb or the deaf or the seeing or the blind? Have not I Yahuah? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall say. He said, O my Lord, send I pray you by the hand of whom you will send. The anger of Yahuah was kindled against Moses, and he said, Is not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know he can speak well. Also, behold, he come forth to meet you, and when he see you, he will be glad in his heart. You shall speak unto him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you what you shall do. He shall be your spokesman unto the people. He shall be he shall be to you instead of a mouth, and you shall be to him instead of Elohim. Now let's look at how that translates too. Muffin man. When you got that instead or in Elohim, that don't say that, right? Don't understand that. Just says Elohim. Why is that important from what you read that he would be able to be as Elohim in the context of what Yahuah just told Moses? What is the context of that you can justify that Moses would be as Elohim to Aaron? From verses 10 to 16, what context do you have to be able to justify that? Absolutely. Because that means Yahuah giving Moses the word, and Moses is dispensing the word. That's where the context of Moses is as Elohim. Because Moses is not getting this information from a man. He's getting it from Elohim. This is your establishment of setting him up, that he is the leader and the ruler and the one having dominion over Yasharal. Because remember, what did Korah and what was their issue?
Moses
took on too much and ruling up over the people. I'm mentioning that because we read about Korah last night. Because what was the two elements that did Korah in, which did Balaam in, and which did Cain in? What was the two elements that did them in? Pride and selfishness. Let's come back over here to where we was at. Where was that before that? Oh, back to 1 Kings chapter 3. Bird. First Kings chapter 3, verse 7. Now, let me ask you this here. We won't go pull no script up for it. So Saul, the people chose Saul. How was David chosen? Shoot, I can't take it that you know. How was David chosen? When I say how he was chosen, how does the what is the what's the word I'm looking for? What is the testimony of David's selection? How did that happen? How did it go? What occurred? He sent Samuel to go choose him. Sent him to whose house? To Jesse's house. But now here's the question: why did he send him to Jesse's house? Meaning, what house is Jesse in? So why did he send him to the house of Judah then? Now you answer me that.
That's Genesis 49.
Genesis 49? Then yes and no. Yes and no.
Yes, it is. Yes.
No, it's elements to it. That's not a yes or no.
No. I get you. That just first thing came to my mind.
And that's why I said it's a yes and no. Because that gives the element of the yes, but it's the no of why he went to Judah. Because now here goes your next question. Who should it went to?
Reuben.
Why it didn't go to Reuben? What's in Genesis 49?
He had already said Reuben sold his wife. He wasn't going to get it.
That's not in Genesis 49. That's in
Genesis.
That's in 1 Chronicles chapter 5.
Yeah.
So if it didn't go to Reuben, how did it get to Judah? Because it wasn't supposed to go to Judah. Who was it supposed to go to if it didn't go to Reuben? Book tell you. Who was supposed to went to Joseph? Joseph, the firstborn son of Rachel. It supposed to went to him. But he got skipped over. Why? That's where your Genesis 49 come in at. That's why I say yes and a no. Because it wasn't supposed to go to Judah. That's supposed to go to the firstborn son. Reuben defiled his birthright. You don't get it. Supposed to went to Joseph. It said Judah prevailed above his brethren. The lawgiver.
Yeah.
In that Genesis 49. Judah prevailed. That's why he sent him to Judah. So that means that from the foundation of the world, this is the house of where the king come from. This is why when Solomon did what he did, he didn't take the kingdom from them. He said, I'm going to give you how many tribes he told Solomon he was going to take? Take 10. And he said he was going to leave 2. Which 2 did he leave? Judah and Levi. Why did he say he was going to leave them? Because of David. But also there's other elements before you even get to David. Or why Judah got to be the one. And why does Judah have to be the one? You know what Judah means, don't you? What it mean? I'm talking about you, sir.
I thought you pointed over there.
Talking about you.
Shoot, you soft.
No.
Yeah.
Praise. So he who praises is the one who rules. Now, brother Saran just mentioned it. Psalms 47:1. Come take a look at it. It's also, you can find this answer of showing that Yahuah is a king in Psalms 24 also. You ain't thirsty, no way. Look how you looking. Now you're thirsty because you feel embarrassed. Now you're getting a little clammy in your cheeks. Psalms 47:1. Oh, clap your hands, all you people. Shout unto Elohim with the voice of triumph. Why? And we're going to get all that. I'm trying to take everything, bring it all the way around. When is the voice of triumph given? All you need to do is go read Revelation 19, and you will hear hallelujah, Yahuah Elohim, omnipotent reign. Why are they rejoicing? Because of the destruction of Babylon, because of the destruction of the beast, and because of the destruction of his idol, and the destruction of his mark, because he has come with 10,000 of his saints, and a fiery law with him. Why is the fiery law important? You already know this. He's coming back with a fire and a sword to plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahuah will be many. Let's continue. Yahuah is most high, is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth. Now pause. We talked about this last night briefly. We're going to read the verse, Revelation 11 and about 12. Face. I got your face. Mandible claw. Mandible claw. 11 and 15 actually, mandible claw. Mandible claw. Revelation 11 and 15. The seventh Malachim sounded. There were great voices in Shamahim. The kingdoms of this world are become the kings of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. Now remember, right? He said he's a great king over all the earth. This should harken you back to when we had the conversation of him being what? King of kings, Lord of lords. Why is this important? Now, when you deal with every king, in essence, Yahuah sets up every king. But when you read in Ezekiel 33, they make a statement. You got watchmen that Yahuah set up, and then you got watchmen that the people set up. You got kings that Yahuah set up, i.e. Nebuchadnezzar, Cyrus / Darius. And then you have kings that men set up. See, let me tell you something, right? Don't listen to these brews when they tell you Joseph Biden is a king. He's not a king. He's a caretaker. Kings have absolute rule. He has absolute rule. Joseph Biden don't have absolute rule. Donald Trump didn't have absolute rule. Barry Soto didn't have absolute rule. See, Barry was worrying about smoking crack and getting his penis up. He ain't had no rule.
You don't even know Barry.
You don't know Barry. Y'all don't know Barry. You know Barry Soto? You do know Barry Soto. You cheered for him. You know what I'm saying? You like his husband and everything. See, she knew. I said husband. She knew I was talking about Michael Obama.
What you call it? What do you like to do?
He like to get a Miami blast. Y'all don't know about that Miami blast. Don't learn about it. That means you in places you spending quality time that you don't even need to be. You know what I'm talking about? All jokes aside, but presidents are caretakers. Remember, I told you this before. When you got all these fake wannabe CEOs, you can't be a CEO of a company and I'm the CEO. Well, who the COO and the CFO, you big dummy? There's no absolute rule in a corporate structure. You are aware of that. Do y'all understand corporate structure and how that works? When you're dealing with a corporate structure, you got a board of governors. You got a chief financial officer. You know, you can vote out the chief. The chief executive officer is a hired position. They can be fired. There have men who've been CEOs who have been ousted out of their own companies. Oh, you're looking crazy. Y'all not familiar with hostile corporate takeovers. I'm just mentioning this here because of the ignorance that our people have in a lot of areas of how things work. A monarch can only be overthrown by a coup. You know what a coup is, don't you? Well, what the hell were these white folks teaching y'all? So y'all mean to tell me y'all big grown people in here don't know what a coup is? You think about I don't know what that is. Now, a coup is a gathering, usually military, of people to overthrow a king or overthrow a ruler of any type. Idi Amin did come to power through a coup. I'm trying to think of somebody you know came to power through a coup who you would know in recent times. They tried a coup with Saddam Hussein. He beat it though.
But he wasn't no king.
But he was a ruler. See, because matter of fact, there's an instance of a coup in the text. Who knows where it is? He did. There was wars, and it was considered a military coup. That is a fact, and that's part of the reasons why they came and tried to kill him.
Yeah, he did. Definitely. That's the kings of the Northern Kingdom after Rehoboam. The niggas that came up and killed. That's how Solomon's bloodline got out of the Northern Kingdom. The boy came together and fled that boy.
Come over here to 2 Kings 11, and let's sit back and look at what a woman tried to say there was a coup. In the text, it's just 2 Kings 11 and 1. In the text, it's just going to say treason. Because see, if you pull a coup, you're a treasonous nigga. You try to overthrow the leader of the house, you're a treasonous nigga. You know, treason is one of the few crimes in the United States of America where you ain't gonna get no life sentence, boy. They gonna go ahead and execute you. Niggas who commit treason ought to die. You never betray the trust of the ruler. Can't do that.
know why people be mad. He said that treason.
Treason. I can't say I blame him. Shit. Nigga, we done did some crimes out here. You done ratted, nigga. That's treason.
He gonna be offended when you call it treason.
Yeah, that's treason. That's treason. When they know to an extent, that's what he did. That was treason. That boy committed treason, boy. Don't be no treasonous nigga. Be a man, son. Ain't that right, Bird?
Yes.
Yes. You thought I was finna grab you, didn't you, Bird? 2 Kings 11:1. And when Ataliah, the mother of Azaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. Yehosheba, the daughter of the king, Joram's sister Aziah, took Joash, the son of Aziah, and stole him from the king's sons, which was slain. And they hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bedchamber from Ataliah, so he was not slain. He was hid in her house. He was with her, hid in the house of Yahuah 6 years, and Ataliah did reign over the land. So you see what she did? She killed once the king died, she killed all his sons so she could rule. Look what she gonna try to pull. She pulled treason, and she gonna scream about some treason. In the 7th year, Yehoiada sent and fetched rulers over hundreds with captains of the guard, brought them into the house of Yahuah, made a covenant with them, took an oath of them in the house of Yahuah, and showed them the king's son. He commanded them, saying, "This is the thing that you shall do. A third part of you enter in on Shabbat, shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house. And a third part shall be at the gate of Sir, and a third part at the gate behind the guard. So y'all shall keep watch of the house, that it shall not be broken down. 2 parts of you shall go forth on Shabbat, and even shall keep the watch of the house of Yahuah about the king. You shall compass the king round about. Every man with his weapon in his hand. He that come within ranges, let him be slain. Be you with the king as he go out and as he come in." What did Mashiach say? He'll lead you what? Going in and coming out. You're supposed to be with the king with the weapon in your hand, ready to go to war at all times. You know why? To protect the king. See, that's what other thing that goes to what we were talking about last night. And of course, people in this country love to use this in regards of chess. See, it's the woman's job to protect the king at all times. Because without the king, you have no direction, you have no rulership, you have no nothing. Once you go outside of the king, it means you're not fit to dwell in his kingdom. If you have to seek guidance outside of the king, you're not fit for his kingdom. See, when you go to hollering at other gods, you're not fit for his kingdom. That's why I say he that put his hand to the plow, you're not fit for the kingdom of Elohim if you looking back. What you worrying about what's over there for if you worrying about the rule and dominion that is here? That ain't got nothing to do with you leave that over there. Because if that was a real kingdom, then you would have stayed over there. So what you looking back for? You already know ain't no rulership or dominion over there. You would have stayed there. Or you just hate authority. That's what you have to look at. Because when you come into a kingdom, you're submitting yourself to the rulership of that kingdom. See, again, what you done came in is you come into the mindset of America that you can be provided for without being in submission to authority. See, you can get you a social security check, even though they take the money out your check. You can get you some welfare. They'll give you this. They'll give you that. And you don't have to be in submission to any type of authority. And when you don't have to be in any type of submission of authority, that causes you to have the mind to reject authority. Because when you coming into the thick hill, a king has autonomy. This is what I done told you about is what Yahuah has set up with the husband. The husband does not have to conversate with his wife about nothing. All that where you try to come in and say, well, what about my feelings and what about my thoughts? They can be considered, but he doesn't have to, because the being is you're going to try to make decisions on what's beneficial for you or how you feel. The king has to make decisions that's beneficial for the entire realm. That's why women don't make good rulers. Because you're going to have to make it. How many companies do you see that are actually literally ran by women that are wildly successful without men next to them? Because Oprah ain't never ran to nothing by herself. And get what? Oprah been holding that the same amount of money for about 20 years. Niggas got happy because she got a TV channel, and guess who ran it? Mr. Charlie. That's it. Because you just, when you're running something, you ain't just making a decision for you. You have to look at how your ramifications of your decision affects your entire kingdom. That was the conversation that those wise men were having with Rehoboam, was it not? Look at it as your decision's going to make. And who did he listen to? His idiot friends who would not have that far-reaching thought process to understand the ramifications of your decisions, how it's going to affect the entire realm. They're only looking at how it's going to affect them and you. That's not an effective way to lead. Because what you think can do be well temporary can cripple you long term. Kings have to see all the way down the road. And when you live in America, you don't have to look for nothing. Why you look how these people acting, right? Why the government won't make these people get a vaccine? You're looking for a king, because a king can come in and say, everybody get vaccinated. There's no question about that. You're going to get vaccinated. See, whether they tell you this or not, Queen Elizabeth still is over all of the territories under British rule. That means Canada. That means Australia. She's still over all of that. The prime minister is just for show. The prime minister is just a European version of a president. She's just a big... And what's one of the biggest complaints that the average person had about Queen Elizabeth? What's the biggest complaint they got about her? Her wealth. Her wealth. Because they mad. Why she got all this wealth? Because she a queen, dummy. Don't get mad because she was born into a household of monarchy. What you mad for? That woman got a lot of bread. That woman got a lot of bread.
Oh boy, he denounced it. He was cutting off his money.
He was cutting out. That's why they clowned him. Once he said to go be around here with a confused hoe. That nigga missing out on bread for some coochie. Nigga, damn fool. Ain't that much love in the world. Nigga, bump that hoe. Well, I'm not finna denounce my royal bloodline for no woman. I don't care if she white, but I don't care what she was. Baby, your vagina ain't that good. I'm finna get cut off from trillions of dollars and the ability to rule for you. And guess what the women in this country, see, that's a love story. You just gotta love. No, that nigga a fool. That nigga a fool. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, you's a fool. See, that ain't what Yahuah did. And saying I'm gonna renounce my monarchy to pick it back up again to redeem you so you can rule with me. That nigga did that for some vagina. Yeah, coming to America is just despicable. That junk like this here, when you're young, you know that. This movie's hilarious. When you get some sense and you look at it, it disturbs your masculinity. You don't even, well, I was just utterly peeved watching the entire second film. Look at this country cool nigga here. Man, this nigga's a buster. You the king and you let a nigga put you out your room? Wow, to roll that funky hole down the stairs, man. I'm talking about right down the stairs. You sleeping on the couch. Nigga, I'm on the money. You gonna get up out of here. I'm on the money. Nino Brown canceled us. I get me a new one. Shoot, where you come from, it's 1,000 of you, man. Ooh, no sir. No sir. No, it ain't even about all that. It's not even about having the bread on Judgment Day. You thinking too deep. It's just about as a man. You don't abdicate. That's giving your strength over to a woman. What we're looking at is the underlying message that they're trying to teach young men, to abdicate your strength and power to appease a woman. It's not worth it. Yahuah told you not to do that. You know what I'm talking about? Why would you do that? Because whether he abdicated, throwing it out, he going to hell regardless. So I might as well go to hell balling. I might as well go to hell on the throne. Shoot, nigga. I'm King of England. You know what I'm talking about? Who? Play with it. I wouldn't give up my rulership and authority for no woman. Man, I wouldn't give up nothing for no woman. You got to be a fool, man. Not nothing to know. No, man. Absolutely not. That don't make no sense. Ain't that much love in the world, bro. And what you getting out the deal? Nothing. And the reason why I said, because one day she gonna die. And then guess what you gonna be left with? Memories. Not your rulership, not your authority, not any of that. Now your children are at a disadvantage because you follow something out of Hollywood based. Somebody sitting in the house wrote a screenplay, and you following behind that when your God himself told you, don't you give your strength. Matter of fact, not only did your God tell you that, that was a woman telling her son that. That wasn't a man telling a young man that. That was his mother. Y'all do know that, right? King Lemuel. You know who King Lemuel is? You know who King Lemuel is?
Yes.
You know who King Lemuel is? Proverbs 31. Look at King Lemuel. Look what his mama told him. He ain't talked about it in the text too often. But he mentioned right here, though. Proverbs 31:1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What, my son? What, the son of my womb? What, the son of my vows? Give not your strength unto women, nor your ways to that which destroy kings. Let's take a look at that. They bear with me, shoot. It's trumpets anyway. We enroll into that. We just talk about kings for a week. They ain't hurt nobody. What, Lemuel? Oh, you like that? Yeah. Lamuel. Lamuel, how you pronounce it. That means for Elohim. Lamad, Meme, U, Aleph, and Lamad. Lamuel. Look at him. Look at Johnny. Shoot, my boy could be named Lamuel. Hey, I ain't mad at you. That means this son means his name literally means he's for Elohim. So that makes sense that his mother is telling him that. She told him, this is the son of my vows. He's a votive offering. She told him, don't give your strength unto women, nor your ways to that which destroy kings. When we look at destroy, it is Malkah. That is something that causes you to be blotted out from memory and to be exterminated and to be obliterated. So kings should not give their ways over to women. Well, what is the thing that makes a man a king? He has to have the power and the ability to rule. That's why you don't do that. That's why what he did was stupid. You gave over to something that caused you to be. Now he's blotted out. He's no longer a part of the family. That's stupid. That's stupid. That makes no sense. You think if I'm in a royal family, I'm going to abdicate my royal authority to be with somebody? For what? Now, I'm just telling you, you seen it in the text. Ain't that what the text said? Look at the next thing he said. It ain't good for kings to do. It's not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes to drink strong drink. It said it ain't good for kings to get drunk now. Go to Proverbs 20:1. Let's see why. Matter of fact, after that, we'll go to Deuteronomy 17 and look at some of the things that can destroy a king. Because if we're going to talk about a king and how a king get in power, we need to look at what kings do. Proverbs 20:1. Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. And whosoever is deceived by thereby is not wise. When we look at wine being a mocker, that is lust. That means it scorns. It talks arrogantly at. It causes you to be inflated. Say strong drink. Causes you to be deceived, which means it causes you to go astray, causes you to err, causes you to sin, causes you to be led astray. So look what he's saying when he say that strong drink is raging. I don't think that raging is there.
So what's the good side and bad side for wine? Wine is the...
Remember, he talking about for a king. This is what his mama tells us. It's not kings, nor fit for kings to drink wine, nor for princes to drink strong drink. Why? Because wine is a mocker. It'll cause you to be, when they say wine is a mocker, when you get intoxicated, it causes people to speak against you. Because now you're intoxicated, you're not in your right mind, people can say something about you. And then they say strong drink is raging, and whosoever deceived by it is not wise, because now it done led you astray, and it shows you that you're unskillful. So it is not wise for kings to even partake. Kings are on a different level. They have to have the ability to rule at all times. Let's show an example of that. Isaiah 28, whole Proverbs 31, Psalms 47, and what the other one? Psalm 22. What I just said?
48.
Yeah, 28.
Isaiah 28. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you both. Jeremiah James Bird. Sit still and be real. Before I give you an elbow to your grill.
Lord.
I don't even like anime.
Proverbs 28, Isaiah 28:1, excuse me. Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose esteemed beauty is a fading flower, which are on the head of the fat valleys of them that are overcome with wine. Behold, the Lord have a mighty and strong one, which are a tempest of hail, a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters, overflowing, shall cast down to the earth. Let's drop down to verse. I might want to keep on going. Ain't gonna hurt. With the hand, the crown of pride, the drunkards of Ephraim shall be trodden underfoot. Esteemed beauty, which is the head of the fat of the valley, shall be a fading flower, as the hasty fruit before the summer, which when he that looked upon it see, while he is yet in his hand, he eat it up. And that day Yahuah of hosts shall be a crown of esteem and a diadem of beauty unto the residue of his people. And the ruach of judgment to him that sit in judgment, and for the strength to them that turn to battle in the gate. They have erred through wine and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. That's why it's not wise for kings to partake in such matters, because you're going to err in the vision and you're going to stumble in judgment. So kings can never err in vision and stumble in judgment, because their judgment is required to rule. So when we look at ourselves, and it says that you will become kings and priests by the blood of who? So it would be good for kings to partake in strong drink or in wine if you say you the son of a king, because you would want to make sure that the vision is clear and you don't err in judgment. Yes, sir. All of those are Jamaican, English colonies.
I thought they had it independent.
No, none of the countries under British rule have ever gotten their independence. Common fallacy perpetrated by the media, because they know that people do not read. The Queen of England still have rulership over numerous countries in Africa, especially when you're dealing with Cecil Rhodes. Controls all of that. And in public, these people are quote unquote democratic rule. In actuality, application, they are under rule of monarchy, and they all know it. Every one of these places play the English national anthem before everything. They play both of them. Yeah, they play both of them.
When she took the throne in 52, she was the Queen of Pakistan.
Queen of Pakistan. You know what happened 4 years after she took 4 years before she took over? Because this is here. This is what happened, right? This is what most people don't know. She took over in 1952. The land was ruled by the British in 1948. The British purposely gave it to them fake people. Yeah, they gave it to them in 1948. Gave it to the Jewish people.
Yeah,
the whole land. The Brits were in control of our homeland in 1948. It was called British Palestine. They were in control of all of that. Now, she don't have control over that, because they give it over to them Khazars. They let them Khazars do what they do.
The Republic of Pakistan got independence in the 60s.
I was right after World War II.
Yeah, she wasn't in power during that time. She came in power in 1952.
Oh yeah, so whoever gave it to her.
Her daddy. Right after, but that was the purpose of. That's why they fought World War II. They fought World War II to get them people in the land. All that was the cap.
Back into,
all that was the cap.
They were coming from Europe.
They were all in Europe. Now, the beef that Adolf Hitler had with them people was real. You know what I'm saying? And the beef was not what they purport in the media. They all know that they're bankers and scammers. They have been excommunicated out of every country they have been in. See, our channel ain't monetized, so I can say what I want to say. Them people evil. I'm talking about evil in regard to their banking practices. You know what I'm saying? Their banking practices are evil. They are exploitative. And they know this, and even other Caucasian Europeans did not want to be dealing with these people. They like, y'all got to go. Yeah, they were middleman all the bread, taxing everybody, causing chaos to cause people to fight each other so they could profit all it. They said, well, y'all got to go. You know what I'm saying? They were getting booted out of every country in Europe that they went in. They overexploited what happened in Germany because, according to records, there wasn't even that many Jewish people in Europe that they claimed died during World War II. Boldface lied. That's when they come and say, you're a Holocaust denier. Did not eat nuts.
Yeah, because sad. Half of them.
I can't be anti myself.
They said that was already here.
Yeah, that's how they hit you with. See, that shame and tactics. He's a Holocaust denier. Man, I don't want to hear that junk. Use a scripture denier, because you ain't no Jew. You're a Satanist, you wicked bastard Jew. You're lying self. Ain't that right, Bird? That right, Bird. You tell them again, Bird. Say they be lying. They be lying, Bird.
Yes.
What they be lying about, Bird? They be trying to say they Jews.
No, they were telling the truth.
Oh, they don't be telling the truth.
They was.
Oh, they was? Okay. Ecclesiastes 10. 10 to 16.
Yeah, they were like the Jews, the reason why Germany they lost the First World War.
They was.
Money,
they were paying with that bread. But the First World War was contrived. All you need to do is look up the King of Bavaria, because they killed him. That's what started World War I. Ain't somebody just fell on the floor? They call that boy Joseph. He don't get to go by his first name. Saran said they got a sister from Bermuda who moved straight here because it's under UK rule. And that's facts. That's why we were watching the movie one time. She didn't know all them Jamaicans was in the United Kingdom. I'm like, yeah.
They got they passport unilateral.
Yeah, that's dual citizenship. You go back and forth. You come around in the Ross, come on, what's going on there, boy? You be like, what are these niggas doing over here?
There's a lot in Canada too. Like
Canada,
British rule. None but dread. They own them all. It's true though. 10 and 15. The labor of the foolish weary every one of them. Oh, that's not what I wanted. 10 and 16. Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child. Uh-oh. And your prince is eating in the morning. Uh-oh. Now y'all should know figure that out easy. Kill my bird. Kill my bird. Ecclesiastes 10 and 16. Woe to the land when your king is a child. Bird, you a child? Or you a kid? Good. You ain't no baby goat. Baby goat, baby goat, baby goat. Baby goat, baby goat, baby goat. Baby goat. What y'all got for me, man? What that mean? Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child. Oh, this is easy, man. This another wide receiver screen. Smoke route. Y'all know about smoke routes, don't you? I guess not. Know about a post corner? Seam route? Button hook? Out route? Drag route? Shallow cross? Yes.
Nah, I think about Shia. When they killed our king, when they fled Egypt.
No. Oh, okay. You said Mashiach. Yes, come on to Matthew chapter 2. Johnny don't know.
I could have called that one.
You did call it out. Matthew 2 and 1. Now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Yehudah in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born, Malach of the Yahudim? We have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Mashiach should be born. They said unto him, in Bethlehem of Yehudah, for thus it is written by the prophet, you Bethlehem and the land of Yehudah are not the least among the princes of Yehudah, for out of you shall come a governor that shall rule my people Yasharal. Then Herod, when he privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, go search diligently for the young child, and when he have found him, bring me word that I may come and worship him also. Because that's what you have. That's why when you hear dudes say you don't worship Mashiach, that's how you know that they don't understand how a kingdom works. Because you're going to give worship and reverence to a king. That's one of the reasons why you see in that 1 Peter 3, when it said, and the godly women and Sarah called Abraham Lord, because they were reverences that she seen him as her ruler. Therefore, that is proper respect. See, what we have in this country is women do things conditionally. I'll do this if you do this. I'll do this if you do that. Versus you do that just because that is who you are. You have to remember, Nabal was what? A fool. It didn't say that Abigail conducted herself towards this man conditionally because he was a fool or not a fool. It said this was a woman of good understanding. So that means she carried herself in a godly fashion, irregardless of what he does or what he doesn't do. Because I'm going to be honest with you, there's no such thing as conditional submission, conditional femininity, conditional service. That means that you are not a fit servant. You are not fit to be provided and protected for, because you're going to do things as long as it meets your benchmark. And how can the servant have a benchmark when you're seeking someone to be able to do things for you? So that means you can be out on the cold. But see, when you out in the cold, you ain't gonna have anybody to come through in the clutch for you. And that has become too commonplace in our country, amongst our people. That's why our community is in shambles. Because don't nobody want to be a part of anything. Everybody wants to be individuals. Like a man cannot be conditionally masculine. I'm only going to be masculine if my wife cook and clean for me. That means he's not a man. You're going to do what men do irregardless of what a woman does. I see you're into the same candy there. You like mints? You got another roll? No. Because you only got strawberry.
Yeah, you gotta have a fruity fight.
You gotta have rainbow at least.
Gotta have a fruity fight.
No, I'm just telling you from the aspect of a king. Because you mean to tell me you're gonna serve Yahuah on conditions? If Yahuah do this and Yahuah do that, then you're going to serve? What type of sense does that make? Does that mean, are you even a woman fit to be in his kingdom? Because at the end of the day, we already talk about this all the time. What got what's the name got out of there? What got Vashti out of there? Disrespect and rebellion. And I told you this before. If you can do your husband like that, you do Yahuah like that. I don't care what you say out your mouth. That don't make no sense that you say you can serve Yahuah, but you can't serve your husband. That makes sense, Bird? It do? You only a boy. Boop. Did that hurt? Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, let's finish this here, Bird. And when they heard the king, they departed. Lo, the star which they saw in the east went before till it came and stood over where the young child was. Now let's drop down a little bit. Verse 13, get to the point. And when they were departed, behold. Well, as a matter of fact, let me read it all then. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were coming to the house, they saw the young child, and Mary, his mother, fell down and worshipped him. And when they opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And being warned of Elohim in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. When they were departed, behold, the Malachim of Yahuah appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise, take you the young child and his mother, flee into Mizraim, and be there until I bring you word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Mizraim, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord, of Yahuah by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, sent forth and slew all the sons that were in Bethlehem, and all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet Jeremiah, saying, in Ramah there was a voice heard, a lamentation and weeping, a great mourning, Rachel weeping for her sons, and would not be comforted because they are not. Jeremiah 31, so you can know where that's at. Jeremiah 31. I got a whole lot of other stuff to tie in on. We're going to have to crank it up a notch, ain't a bird? We're going to have to crank it up, bird. Yes. Yes. Jeremiah 31 and 10. Yes. 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 Jeremiah 31 and 10. Hear the word of Yahuah, O you nations, and declare it into the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Yasharal will gather him, keep him as a shepherd his flock. Yahuah have redeemed Jacob, ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. Therefore shall they come and sing in the height of Zion. They shall flow together to the goodness of Yahuah, for wheat, for wine, for oil, for the young of the flock and of the herd. And their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, young men and old together, for I will turn mourning into joy, and I will comfort them and make them rejoice from their sorrow. I will satiate the souls of the priests with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, saith Yahuah. Thus saith Yahuah, a voice was heard in Ramah. Do y'all know where Ramah is? What y'all know about Ramah? That is in Samaria. That's the city that that Samuel was from. Yeah. Means hill. So in the hill, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted because her children were not, because you have upheaval and turmoil. Thus saith Yahuah, refrain your eye for your voice from weeping, your eyes from tears, for your work shall be rewarded, saith Yahuah, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. So even with this weeping of these babies that were being killed, the purpose of them being killed was to set up for the governor, and then that Micah 6 that he referenced, being born to bring you back into a place where that king could rule. But come back to Ecclesiastes 10, because remember what it said, the land would weep, O king. And what it said, you had a lot going on. See, y'all just thought it was just them places talking about killing babies. You can say, woe to the land, O king, when your king is a child. When he was a child, was there not woe in the land? And your princes eat in the morning. Well, when did the princes eat in the morning? Y'all know when the princes ate in the morning?
That's the apostles.
That's the apostles. They ate in the morning, right after his resurrection. We read it the other night.
They
got their fields. Let's keep on going.
That's right.
Blessed are you, O land, when your king is the son of nobles. He say, blessed are you, O land, when your king. What is a noble? Do y'all know what a noble is?
A lesser king.
Lesser king. Hold on now. I'm finna throw you because it ain't even what you think it is. It is to an extent, but not here. It is. Strict definition. English, yes. The word noble here is koreh, ka and rosh. You separated by the highest. And guess what that means? Freeborn one. One that's born free. One. What does that tell you when it says? Where's the verse at? Oh, it is. Blessed are you, O land, when your king is the son of nobles. Ecclesiastes 10 and 17. Blessed your land, he say, when your king, Ben Kor, meaning son of a free one. Now, one thing we know, is the father ever been under subjection? We read this a couple weeks ago in Job, right? There's no iniquity with Elohim. So when the son was born, he was born free. See, let me show you an example. When Yahushua was letting them know, I'm a son of a noble. What you thinking about, Peter? Matthew 17. See, the reason why I'm focusing on this here is because a king is born free. A king is never under subjection or oppression or rulership of another. Never. That doesn't happen. Kings are free-born men. After we read this Matthew 17, matter of fact, before we read Matthew 17, John chapter 8. Boop. What you been up to, Jeremiah James Bird?
Hey, Eli.
You been chilling? Like a villain or just chilling like a bird? John 8:31. Like a pizza. Where's the pepperoni? John 8:31. What you doing, Muffin Man? What you doing, Muffin Man? I see you, boy. Then said Yahushua to those Yahudim which believed on him. If you can, and we're not coming over here for what you think we're coming over here for. If you continue in my word, you are my disciples indeed, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed. We've never been in bondage to who? Any man. That's what we came here for. They were saying they were freeborn. How say you shall be made free? They were saying we are son of a noble. Because when you look at Abraham, was Abraham in bondage to any man at any time? No, he was not. Terah was a noble man. That's what I was telling little Muffin this because she said, well, if Adam didn't have a father, then how did he get here? Because again, you have to look at it. When you run into the children, you run it down like this here. You got Adam, the son of Yahuah, who give forth to Seth, the son of Adam. Run him all the way down to Noah. But we skip all that and you get to Terah. And then we get to Abraham. From Abraham, we get to who? Isaac. From Isaac, we get to Jacob. And then after that, shoot, baby, he got 12 sons. Pick one. You might be from him. You might be from him. Could be from him. You'll figure it out. If Yahuah so too. Boop. 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 Bird. Oh, you trying to throw a little authority, huh? Son? I see you, Bird. Boop. Come over here and look at Terah, Genesis chapter 10. Bird say, I feel not threatened, so I feel no need to place up my guards. I'm a karate expert of the yellow belt kind. I shall thrash you thoroughly and swiftly. But are you ready for my Wu-Tang style? Let's begin there. Because I stand close to walls, like number 4, the lizard.
That's definitely not Freddy.
Who? Yes, it is.
No.
That's Shaolin.
No, that's Kung Fu.
Look at you.
Every time,
That's my boy. That's my boy. Boy said that's Kung Fu. I don't do no Kung Fu. They teaching you good over there in the bird. Oh, I'm sorry, not Genesis 10, Genesis 11 and 27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, Haran. Haran begat Lot. Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in Ur Chaldees. Abraham and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarah. The name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and the father of Iscah. But Sarah was barren and she had no child. Terah took Abram his son and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's wife, Sarah, his daughter-in-law, his son's Abraham's wife, and they went forth from Ur of Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there. Now, who was Sarah to Abraham? From who? Oh, you don't remember? Who was Sarah to Abraham? And his sister from whom? See, that's my mother's daughter.
ain't from my dad.
Ain't from my daddy. So that tells us one or two things. His mother was a whore, or she had a child and her husband died, and Terah married her after her husband died. You know what I'm saying? Or either way it goes, Because it doesn't mention his mother. Doesn't mention his wife. Mention Sarah, doesn't mention that. He said, that's my mother's daughter. So that tells us that 9 times out of 10, that means Sarah in a different fashion. Also, that tells us also what?
They ain't of the same seed.
That they're not of the same seed. So that means that Terah had more than one wife. That's what that tells you.
That's what I was going to read. So it tell you.
That's what that tells you. Because she wasn't of the same seed. But we're not going to get into speculation of how that came about. But clearly he said, that's my mother's. That's my mother's child. But that ain't my daddy's child. So that means his mama had coitus, had relations with another man. Now how that came about, Yahuah knows. That ain't none of our business.
It was right. You got to assume.
John chapter 8, verse 34. Yahushua answered, truly, truly, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin. The servant abide not in the house forever, but the son abide forever. If the son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. What did Paul write to Corinth? Where the ruach of the Lord is, there is what? Liberty, freedom. What did he tell you? Don't take your liberty as a cloak of maliciousness. So when you look at this here, right? Remember, it's not just the son of a noble. It's telling you that blessed is the land when the son of a noble rules over you, or the son of a freeborn. Yahushua was born free. That's why everybody who, remember what it tells you in Ecclesiastes 4:14, everybody who's born in this kingdom become what? Shoot, if you don't know, I told you what it is. Everybody born in this kingdom become what?
I'm about to say little boys.
Yeah.
Little boys. We're going to be little boys. With all the toys. Little boys. Ecclesiastes 4:14, everybody born in this kingdom shall be what? Who? Huh? Y'all ain't found it yet? Become poor or be humble. So in order to be freeborn, you're going to have to be humble. Because if you're going to be freeborn, you can't be freeborn and be full of pride. Come back to Ecclesiastes 10. Remember what it say? Blessed, O land, when your king is the son of a freeborn or been separated by the highest. You separated by the highest, so you're not freeborn? He said, your princes eat in due season for strength and not for drunkenness. Hold on now. Where y'all can read that at? That your princes eat in due season for strength, not for drunkenness. It's already been referenced. Not on that one. Correct, sir. Correct, sir.
Like he would,
No, the answer has already been referenced today. Say the princes eat in due season for strength, not for drunkenness. Remember, eat. See, Pentecost, they were filled with the Ruach. It don't reference them eating. I'm talking about literally referencing them eating for strength. It's already been referenced today. No, not there. Not there. Due season is just occurrence, occasion, fortune, ayin, and ta. You've experienced and known the covenant. We referenced it today. Read it last night. Give me your brain. Your brain. Y'all don't recall? Do I have to pull it up? I need to pull it up? Is that what you're telling me? Lil Muffin, you know? Lil Muffin don't know. Why you don't know, Lil Muffin? What's your idea? Huh? Oh, the marriage supper? Luke chapter 24. When it's referencing princes, it's referencing his apostles, because those would be his princes, his chiefs, if you will. I got a lot of verses to finish. Good grief. I'll give you the word for prince real quick. You know that Tsar, chief, ruler, vassal, official, under a king. Luke 24. Are you musket boy? You ain't put your deodorant on? Oh, so you stink.
I did.
You smell like booty rank. Booty rank so hard. Make birds want to fall. Luke 24. Verse 28. And when they drew near unto the village whither they went, he made as though he would have gone further. They constrained him and said, abide with us, for it is towards evening. The day is far spent. He went in to tarry with them. It came to pass as he sat at meat with them, he took bread, blessed it, and brake, and gave to them. And their eyes were open, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. And they said one to another, did not our hearts burn within us when he talked with us by the way, while he opened up unto us the scriptures? This is when you see where they're eating for strength and not for drunkenness. Because they ate in due season or in the proper occasion. You don't think once they gave him that bread, that was for strength? Now, why is that important? Because kings ought to do things for strength and not drunkenness, basically to stay focused. Let's continue on. Look at verse 18 of Ecclesiastes 10. By much slothfulness, the building decayed, and through idleness of the hands, the house dropped through. That's a whole nother conversation, but that tie into the parable of the talents that we read about being lazy. A feast is made for laughter, and wine make merry. Money answer all things. We done discussed that before. We don't keep it moving. Curse not the king, not in your thought. Curse not the rich in your bedchamber. For the bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which have wings shall tell the matter. What do y'all think that means when you say curse not the king in thought? Now this one here is madah, literal thought or knowledge. Your literal thoughts. You know what this is? You'll give account for every idle word that you done spoke. He said, don't curse the king in your thought. Let's finish this 2 Kings 11 while I got it up here, talking about some treason. I'm going to finish all this stuff we got open, close all these tabs. Now your brain belongs to me, boy. I'm seizing your brain. Oh, your brain. Ha! I'm taking your brain.
That's my brain. Stand down. What happened?
2 Kings. What did we stop at? You pick it up at verse 8. He said, you shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapon in his hands. He that come within ranges, let him be slain. And be with your king as he go out and as he come in. The captains over the hundreds did according to all things that Yahuah the priest commanded. They took every man in his tent that would come in on Shabbat with them that should go out on Shabbat, and came to Yahuah the priest. The captains over hundreds, and the priests give King David spears and shields, and they were in the temple of Yahuah. And the guard stood every man with his weapons in his hand round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar in the temple. And he brought forth the king's son and put the crown on him and gave him the testimony. They made him king and anointed him. And they clapped their hands and said, Elohim saved the king. And when Atilya heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she came to the people in the temple. And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar as the manner was. The princes, the trumpeters by the king, all the people of the land rejoiced and blew with trumpets, and Atilya rent her clothes and cried, treason, treason. But Yahuah the priest commanded the captains of hundreds and the officers of the host, and said unto her, have her forth without the ranges, and him that follow her, kill her with the sword. For the priest had said, let her not be slain in the house of Yahuah. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. Ain't that she had a nerve to say that they were committing treason when she the one that committed the treason to begin with? But why did she commit the treason? Because she wanted power. Never. Now, was she allowed to rule? Yes, she was. But Yahuah has never set up or ordained where a woman would sit on the throne and rule. Y'all do know that, right? That's about the only instance in the text where a woman sat on the throne. And you see all the people set it up to get something done to get the king's son on the throne. Because they didn't know a king's son was alive. Without a king's son, there wouldn't have been nobody to sit on the throne. Have you not noticed that every man who Yahuah ever allowed to sit on the throne, he certainly made sure they had at least one son to take over when he died? You got kings that was young as what to sit on the throne? 8. Josiah was 8 years old. He sat on the throne. That's one thing Yahuah gonna do, boy. If you really a king and you meant to rule, he gonna make sure you have a son sit on that throne. Saul had sons still alive that if he wanted to keep Saul on the throne, they could have sat on the throne. But let's look at Sunday 4th of Deuteronomy 17, how kings supposed to conduct themselves. Yeah, wipe them on out so they can never sit on the throne. Yeah. Same thing with Ahab. Same thing with the king who got cursed on the back end. I can't remember his name in Jeremiah. Said none of your sons will ever sit on the throne. I'm going to kill them all. Yes, sir. I think that's it. His name escaped me, but I think it's it. Deuteronomy 17. A swallow. Why you still got a brain? That's my brain. 17 and 14. It's my brain.
I don't got there.
17 and 14. When you come into the land which Yahuah your Elohim give you, and you shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as the nations that are about me. He shall in any wise set him a king over you, whom Yahuah your Elohim shall choose, because he's going to have to be the son of a freeborn in order to sit on that throne. One from your brethren shall you set king over you. You may not set a stranger over you, which is not of your brother. He shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt to the end that they should multiply horses. For as much Yahuah said unto you, you shall not henceforth return no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. It shall be when he sit upon the throne of his kingdom, that he will write a copy of this law and a book out of that which is before the priests of the Levites. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Yahuah his Elohim, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his kingdom, he and his sons in the midst of Yasharal. Now this is important. Number one, he doesn't want the king to do two things, and what are those two things are? Multiply wives and multiply wealth. Not that he can't have wealth, because the king needs to have wealth to be respected. But he knows that when he do these two things, that pride and selfishness and folly would be soon to follow. And then the biggest component is that they would need to have the book so that they could know how to rule. Because what y'all remember what 2 Samuel 22 and 1 say, right? If you don't remember, I suggest you read it and let me know what it say. 2 Samuel, we spent a good time talking about 2 Samuel 22. He that ruleth amongst men must be just. See, when you're ruling, when things are just, that doesn't mean that people gonna like it. You know why people don't like it? Because people want what they want. Let's return to Proverbs 31. We ain't even got to the part. Y'all do know that they bear witness that these people got to bring him wealth, right? You knew that? Did I? When? That I said they were going to bring him wealth? I don't think I said it. I'll allow it. We're going to make sure we got everything in Proverbs 31. See, now we good. See, come out. No, Proverbs 31 and 4, one more time, right? Because we didn't read verse 5. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any afflicted. That's what we read in Isaiah 28, right? That's why I said it ain't good for a king to get drunk, because then you might forget the word. And then when it comes time to execute judgment for those who suffer, you ain't going to be able to do it. Which is why you see Mashiach turning down that sour wine and all that other stuff, because he wasn't going to forget the law and be able to pervert the afflicted. When they come up to try to kill him, and he told Peter, no, man, I could call for 12 legions of Malachim, but the script got to be fulfilled. Let's look at that pervert the afflicted so you understand what that means. When we look at pervert, that is sanah, that is the change or alter. So he said, unless they turn around and alter the dana or the deen, the dispute, the strife, the condemnation, the judgment. That means if Yahusha is drunk, then that means he's going to change the judgment. What was the judgment? That he died. That in that regards, then he's going to change the judgment of the afflicted. Who is the afflicted? It is those in misery or onay, which takes us back to that Psalms 139. If there be any pain in me, lead me in the way of everlasting. Because what pain do we have? You have the pain of death on you. So if he drink wine and strong drink, then he's going to change the course of the judgment, and therefore that does not relieve the afflicted. So kings, first and foremost, have to be self-sacrificing. We talk about this when you're just talking about being but see, self-sacrificing does not mean giving in to the whims of the people. Because what does the law tell you about gifts? He said, don't take them because they pervert the words of the wise. See, people like to give stuff to people, and then they feel like that is what will allow them to say what I want you to say. That's why you see Samuel and Moses and all them boys say, we ain't took nothing from y'all. Because if I take something if you giving this person gifts, see, you have to understand the difference. Because when Saul went to see Samuel, did he not bring a gift? Because of all intents and purposes, Samuel was operating in the office of a ruler. So he came to bring gifts to the ruler. You always go and bring gifts to the ruler. That's just but see, y'all not accustomed to that. Whether you know it or not, when some of these dignitaries from other countries come over here, they bring gifts to the president. That's proper etiquette. Delegation. Straight up now. When the president go to other countries, they bring gifts. That's proper etiquette. That's what you do. See, most of us, you ain't raised with that level of respect because your daddy ain't a king. When you meet men of high degree, you show proper respect. See, we ain't taught none of these things. We don't know none of these things. Most people are like, I see the president, man, bump that crack. No, man, you give that man his proper respect. That man has a position of power. That's not how you conduct yourself as a man. If you do that, you show in reality that you less than a man. It doesn't matter if you agree with his politics or if you can't say you don't like him, you don't know him. But as a man, you get, because what did Peter tell you to do? Give honor to who? Whom honor is due. Because at that point, you're going to blaspheme the word. You blaspheming the word by what you say you call, by treating these people in that fashion. You give respect where respect is due. But what's the first thing you going to scream? What's up, king? This nigga ain't a king. This nigga work at Burger King. This nigga work at Jiffy Lube. No king working at no damn Jiffy Lube. You can't even be a king if you're not even control. You can't be a king if you answer to another man. You can't be deemed a king if you answer to another man. When I say answer to another man, meaning another man other than your father has rule over you. You can't be a king at that point. And that just is what it is, man. That's no disrespect. And that ain't nothing to be ashamed of. You know why it ain't nothing to be ashamed of? How many tribes is it in Yasharal? 12. How many tribes did the king come from? 1. How many families out of the house of Yahuah do the kings come from? 1. So that means that's a narrow group of people that can be king. Don't go for that crap these old African Butu niggas want to tell you come from kings and queens. Them niggas lying to you. Nigga, you came from a gardener. You come from farmers, nigga, and wine makers. Shepherds and whatnot. Your daddy was a carpenter, nigga. Your daddy was a plumber. I'm telling you this here because then it causes you to have perspective to where you understand where you come from and you conduct yourself in the proper fashion. Now, if you're talking about, and not in a linear sense, but in a more broad, abstract type of way, if you have control over your life to where you answer to no one other than your Elohim, then and only then could you say that I'm a king. But see, we can't say we kings because if you buy a house, you got to answer to the state that you live in because if you don't pay property taxes, they're going to take your house. If you're a king, that means you rule autonomously. That means no other group of people can impose their will upon you. This is why the text tells us to not take our freedom as a cloak of maliciousness, because you know you a king, but you're not in the position to flex the authority of a king because you're not in a kingly state. You're still in another person's land, subject to their authority. Because you know that's what niggas love. You don't hear no other race of people walking around talking about peace, king. See, we got to do that to get ourselves together. You know, we've been oppressed. You don't doing nothing but oppressing yourself. How many you ever met niggas who say they a king, nigga live at their mama house? I'm talking about any of y'all. Any of y'all ever knew a dude that said he was a king, had king in his bio, sleeping at his mama house? How you a king, nigga? You sleep at your mama house. Now, Matt, you ever dated a nigga said he was a king? Walked around with that term. You from New York, you know y'all like to talk like that. Beloved, king, all that good old stuff. Ooh, that's what y'all niggas talking about. That's what them 5%ers do. That's where all them niggas at. Oh, you ain't deal with no. Oh, so you weren't messing with no Harlem niggas then. That's what you said. No Staten Island niggas, no nothing. Brooklyn. Nigga, your niggas you were messing with from Mount Vernon, nigga.
Yeah, take 3 trains.
I'm trying to say 3 trains. But no, them 5%, that's why I said that, because every 5% of nigga I ever met from up there, that's how they talk. Peace, king. Peace, God. What's the mathematics, king? You ain't no king, nigga. Telling them lies. You sell drugs. How you a king selling drugs? These niggas say they gods. These niggas be killing people. These boys be straight criminals. I say 75% of all the 5%ers I knew were criminals. Like real criminals too. Not no, I'm pretending to be a criminal. Like this nigga's a killer. This nigga really sell drugs. This nigga really rob. Man, when I was in prison with them 5%ers, man, them niggas was punks and stabbing niggas. Come on, what's the day's mathematics, God? Clearly that knife you got in your pants. Going over here. Shoot, them niggas came to Ramadan was finna fight. You know that's their highest day. Man, I'm in there with them boys. The soonest finna fight the 5%ers. The 5%ers finna fight the NOI. And I'm just sitting there eating bitters, laughing. They might have been. Now them boys were bumping over doctrine. What is a 5%? A 5% is from a group called the Nations of Gods and Earths. It's an offshoot of the Nation of Islam by a dude named Clarence 13X. Basically, his whole template come from the Nation of Islam for all intents and purposes. Any of y'all ever read you ever read English Lesson C and all that? Don't waste your time. But I have read them. It's straight Nation of Islam teaching. And of course, Elijah Muhammad was taught by Farad Muhammad. And Elijah Muhammad in his own book, Message to the Black Man, said that before he was a Muslim, he was a Mason. I had read Message to the Black Man right before I got locked up to go to prison. You ain't missed nothing. You ain't missed nothing.
Peace, God.
Notice right this here, right in verse 6 of Proverbs 31, it say, you ought to give strong drink to those that are ready to perish. Wine unto them that be of a heavy heart, that they may drink and forget their poverty and remember his misery no more. We done talked about that before. See, that's where it flipped. You give the cup to us. They say it ain't good for the king to do it. Because the king has to be of us. Basically what we're trying to establish, before you talk about wealth, a king has to be someone of solid, sound mind. If he's solid, sound mind, that means he has solid, sound judgment, which means he can rule properly. That's why Yahuah was upset with Adam for listening to Eve, because you allowed her to become your God and rule by following her. This is what the text really means when it's talking about don't give your strength to a woman. You cannot allow her to rule. You have to rule. There is no co-leadership. There's no co-submission. None of that exists. You have to rule. And of course, in the world that we live in now, the fact of a man ruling over a woman is disgusting to a woman. Most women, I've told you this before, I've seen it in active duty, if you would, for lack of a better term, or an active application, duty. But most women don't want a man greater than her, because then she knows that man has no need for her. She'd rather have a lesser man. A lesser man is easier to control and rule over because he will need you. Most women want to rule over the man that they have, meaning they want to have a say and a push and a guide into the affairs of the realm. When you're dealing with a man who don't need a woman, like, bro, you got grown men out here. Shoot, we didn't talk about this the other day. You got grown niggas out here don't even know how to open a bank account. You got a lot of grown niggas don't know how to do nothing. See, what the woman's supposed to do is pick up the slack. If you see he over here got all this going on, you supposed to come in and pick up the slack to make the load easier for him. That's what a helpmeet does. That's why it's called an aid, a help, and a relief. We talked about that in regards to the virtuous woman. She seen what her husband needed and filled the void. That's what made her virtuous. He didn't have to tell her what to do. See, they tell the man to do what? Study your woman, to give her what she wants without asking. You're a helpmeet. You're doing what she's supposed to do. I'm just mentioning this in this society, they're telling young men to do what the woman is supposed to do. And then you wonder why the man can't rule, because you have effeminized him to be as a woman. There's no way that he's going to be able to fulfill his role. You can't give your strength to a woman. If you don't want to rule or be up under that nigga, dip. But one thing for certain and two things for sure, you only get one a lifetime. Don't let these women out here lie to you. You only get one olive man a lifetime. You only get one ruler a lifetime. When I'm talking about ruler, a man with a rulership mentality, you only get one a lifetime. And when you mess that up, you're done. Because why would Yahuah give you another ruler if you couldn't deal with the one he already gave you? You think he gonna give you another Mashiach if you found Yahushua wasn't acceptable? So what makes you think if you get one ruler in the natural sense, he gonna give you another? That's no difference if a dude get a virtuous woman and he don't do right by you, think he gonna give you another one? Oh yeah, he definitely didn't know to do with that one. I wager he's more mature now. I'll give him another one. No, he ain't gonna give it to you because you ain't appreciate it. So he gonna feel you ain't gonna appreciate it on the back end. He ain't gonna give it to you. Most women don't realize that. You only get one ruler in your life. You think you done ran across one? A man in his brain. That's like that. That's my man. I'm just asking. So you say you ain't missed your boat.
If you still got some chickens to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't caught the trip yet.
She ain't caught the trip yet. But I'm saying, like, I ain't saying that every woman will run cross one. I'm not saying that either. Yeah, it will come. You know what I'm talking about? But if you get one, you only get one a lifetime. You only get one a lifetime. You ain't get another. You ain't gonna get no number. A man who can be autonomous and do things and has the ability that it's gonna be what I want, and that's it. And I'm gonna direct things how I want them to be directed, and you're gonna get in line with what I got going on, and I do not need you in order to sustain myself. Or you only get one. You only get one. That's why it's easier for a lot of women to. Some women need to be with a beta male. It's better for them. It's better for them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Some women can't be with that type of man. He's too strong. Beta male easier for you to deal with. Some women supposed to be with a beta male. You're a beta male. Well, I seen an interview that nigga did a couple years with Tanya TKO. That nigga had that whole fluster. That's Jesse Lee. Yeah, somebody getting popped. Sound like Lil Joe. Come on back to song 22. Lil Joe did not see that coming. Let me do songs 47. I think that jump more noise than whoop. It sounds louder than the pain. See, the pain is because I can't believe you're doing this. Yeah, that's all. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. What you got, Muffin Man? That boy been pulling the Eugene. That boy be getting bucked, be pointing. He don't get no bird. He don't flip no bird, though. Psalm 47:3. I at least got to get to the wealth part before we get out of here. He shall subdue the people under us and nations under our feet. He shall choose our inheritance for us, the excellency of Jacob whom he loved. Selah. Elohim is gone up with a shout. Yahuah with the sound of a trumpet. Sing praises to Elohim. Sing praises unto our King. Sing praises. For Elohim is the King of all the earth. Sing you praises with understanding. Elohim reign over the heathen. Elohim sit up on the throne of his kadashness. The princes of the people are gathered together, even the people of Elohim of Abraham, for the shields of the earth belong unto Elohim. He is greatly exalted. Now, of course, this is talking about him being exalted, but we're also talking about people being subdued under his feet. Saran already mentioned Isaiah 60, so let's take a look at it. Ooh. Bird, where my money at, Bird? Where my money at, Bird? What they doing at your grandma's house? Why you ain't got it right here for me, man? That's my money. I need my money, Bird. Isaiah 60:6. You ain't gonna give me my money, Bird? Where my money at, Bird? Oh, that boy walking up. That boy booty so. That boy walking up. Man, shoot. Well, when I get 4.5, I'm gonna move. That's how some of y'all used to walk out after you get a whooping. I'm gonna run away with grandma now. That boy say definitely. Isaiah 60:6. The multitude of camels shall cover you. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come. Listen what they say they're going to do now. They're going to bring what? Gold. Incense. They shall show forth the praises of Yahuah. Now let's just pause. What are the feast days that everybody got to come up? Males specifically. What are the feast days that males' attendance is required? What? That's two. Tabernacle. And what is the caveat that when you arrive that you must do? Can't come empty-handed. You can't come stand before the king. And notice that he didn't say no women. You know why? Because the men bring the offering for the whole household. He ain't asking for no women to come up because what he want to talk to you for?
So you're a woman without a husband.
You a woman without a husband, you can't even make no offering because he don't want to talk to you. Talk to you for what? He don't even want to talk to you. That's not saying a woman without a husband can't be delivered, but he don't want to talk to you. Because remember what it says in Zechariah 14, everybody got to come up to the Feast of Tabernacles to see the who? Shoot. How they calling his father dead? That was very rare. The only way a woman would be out there by choice if she was a widow. Her husband died and she chose not to remarry. The son would be responsible.
Her brother.
If he wanted to.
Yeah, if he had me.
Yeah, if he so chose. But remember, right, we talked about this before. The epistle to Timothy give the breakdown of who's supposed to care for the widow. And she got to be a widow indeed. That means you had to been done raised grown children. I ain't talking about not having an 8-year-old, a 6-month-old, a 2-year-old. You would have had to have proof that you rose children from infancy to adulthood who walked in righteousness to be considered a widow. Indeed. That's what it say. Y'all remember what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all looking like you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm with you. Because then it would be on the males in her family to care for her. After that, if she had no males to care for her, then it would be on the body. But if she wasn't a widow indeed, or she was on her own. That go to the fatherless and the widow. And she got to be a widow indeed. See, you just can't be no chick who out here and you was getting ran through and you got some babies and you talking about my husband died and no, you out here dolo. You not like I said. Matter of fact, I tell you, if you a widow indeed and you young, he say go get you a husband. He say go get you a husband. That's what the text tell you to do. Because he say you're gonna turn aside after Satan. Let's go on here and read. They looking at me like I'm talking about. What's wrong with it? 2 Timothy. You know, it's 1 Timothy chapter 5. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 9. Bird. Put the cap on it, bird. You gonna put the cap on it, bird?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Let not a widow be taken in to the number under 60 years old, having been the wife of one man. You can't even be established as a widow if you under 60 years old. Verse 9, 1 Timothy 5 and 9. Yeah, you need to go get you a husband. He said, if you under 60, you need to go get you a husband. You ain't no widow. No, you know, you got brews out here that be saying single mothers are widows. That's simple. That ain't no widow. You got to have a husband to be a widow. If you ain't have no husband, you ain't a widow. Harlot, whore, miscreant. Verse 10, well reported of good works. So that means she has to have a report that she's done good. What are some of the things that say good works? She done lodged strangers. She done washed the saints' feet. She done reverenced her husband. She done fed the poor. See, there's many things that we talk about this when we talk about what women do in the text. We go on for days. You got to be well reported of good works. If she brought up children, if she lodged strangers, if she washed the saints' feet, if she relieved the afflicted, if she diligently followed after every good work. But look what verse 11 tell you. But the younger widows refuse, for they begun to wax wanton against Mashiach, they will marry, having damnation because they cast off their first faith. Withal, they learn to be idle. So get what happened? They husband died, now they sitting around doing nothing. Wandering about from house to house, not only idle, but tattlers also, busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, and give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. And that's why these people can speak reproachfully, because our women are unmarried and they out here doing whatever they want to do, and you giving your enemies the ability to dishonor you. Because the advent of a woman just being by herself is not scripturally based. They can tell you need to go get you a husband. You know what I'm saying? You need to go find you a husband. Somebody need to go find her husband. Because what ends up going to happen is they're going to engage in conduct that is going to cause people to dishonor you and your Elohim. That's why that's frowned upon in our culture. Our culture don't promote no woman being by herself. She got to go get her husband. You know what I'm saying? I know that's what America taught, that's what the world taught, but that's not the culture of the Yahudim for women to be alone. And unfortunately, y'all hear all the podcasts, Kevin Samuels and all the niggas talking about only 1 in 4 of our women get married, and a lot of our women raising kids. You know how selfish a nigga you got to be to purposely choose to raise a child by yourself? I mean, you ain't give a damn about the child. You only care about you. See, most of them women who get out there and say that, nobody won't look them in the face and tell them that. You don't care about that child. You care about you. Because why in the world would you put your child at a disadvantage on purpose? On purpose. Same way in this group I'm in, these people saying, why do dudes put their penis in women and ejaculate knowing you ain't want to have no kids? Then she get pregnant, you leave her alone. You a selfish bastard. Because you knew what was happening when you were having raw. I can't even say raw. Having sex, because sex supposed to be raw. Ain't no prophylactic. So you know you have an intercourse. What did you think was going to happen? You know what I'm talking about? Now you like this here. I ain't want no baby. We shouldn't have been having sex with her then. Because that's selfish too. Don't impregnate the woman, then don't want to take care of the woman and take care of the baby. Now you want to slide. And now all these whole niggas be on the internet tomorrow. It's a woman's choice who get burned. What if a man don't want to have a baby? Then you shouldn't have been knocking her down. And shoot, you told your mama right, Jessica. Jessica said her mother said she wanted a child for herself. She told her that was selfish. That is selfish. If a woman volunteers to raise a child on her own and she didn't have to, that's selfish. You don't care about the children. You care about you. Because you're putting your children at a disadvantage, and everybody knows this. That's undisputable data. And from whether you look at raw numbers or you look at life experience, that if you set a child in a single parent household, you are setting them up for failure. You are deliberately setting it up for that child's life to be more difficult than it needs to be. Because you don't see this epidemic in other countries going on like you see it going on over here, specifically with our people. But don't get it twisted. Them white folks got a lot of single parent households too. They just don't plaster it very well. Little Becky always talking about how she want a husband. Don't nobody want to mess with her because she got 3 kids from 3 different men. They just don't talk about it. See, y'all proudly talk about it. See, the white folks ain't gonna make no song talking about that's just my baby daddy. They're not gonna do that. And when I say they're not gonna do that, meaning they're not gonna green light an artist that look like them to make a record like that. Not that they don't behave like that, not that they don't talk like that, but the power machine is not going to let that image get put out there like that. They'll let you do it though. Why wouldn't they? You ain't they people, why would they care? I just seen a 17-year-old girl who was pregnant, and she sat back and said she talking to her stomach, talking about if you come out looking like your daddy, I'm gonna put you back in. She saying the baby kicked. He said, yeah, I say he should have kicked. Should have kicked right out your vagina and kicked you in your face and jumped right back in there. You know how selfish that is? Then I just seen a woman talking about, what did I say? Oh yeah, white, non-Hispanic, without question. There's more of them. There's more of them. I already know that. There's more white people. You know it's going to be more white single mothers than black. But it's an image thing. They're not going to purport that. See, the difference is they don't embrace it to promote it. You embrace it as if that's something to do. But you embrace. See, they have more single mothers because they're reckless with their vagina too. See, the white hole reckless with their monkey. Real reckless with it. Y'all just don't know that because you don't hang around white women. Absolutely. It ain't even that one there.
That's what they call it pound.
And that nigga, they're crazy. But also this here too, though. You have to realize, though, a lot of that come from not only for them being unmarried, but they are just as quick. Woo!
You do everything with what I told you to do. Come sit down.
They're also quick to leave their husbands. White women are very, very quick to leave their husbands. You know what I'm saying? And that junk done trickled down to our women ain't even getting married. So they just not even looking to marry the man who they have a kid with. They're not even looking to do it. White women get married, had a kid, then leave their husband. I'm not happy anymore. When you hear a woman say she leave because she ain't happy, that means you were never committed to the situation because happiness come and go. We didn't talk about that. That junk come and go. How would y'all feel if your husband looked you in his house and say, you know what? I know I've been paying all these bills for the last 10 years. I'm not happy anymore, so I'm going to just leave and let you take care of it. Because I'm not happy. And I'm going to leave you on to your own devices. You figure it out. That's the image they put out there, that men just leave women out here floating in the wind, desperate and broken, and they ain't got no money. And that's not what's happening. Y'all be sliding. Because you're not getting what you want. And guess what? What you want ain't on the other side of that door. What you want is a cold, lonely world out there. That's what's out there. See, women, y'all don't know that. Men already know, boy, it's cold and lonely. That's why they come home. See, the niggas who run the street, that's because they think it's something out there in the street. They stupid. Niggas who been out there and they know, that's why they come home. They be like, boy, you don't go nowhere. Shoot. Well, ain't nothing out there, boy. I'm finna sit right in this house, and I'm either finna sleep, I'm finna play this game, I'm finna watch me a movie, or I'm gonna do some work. But I'm not going out there. Because what's out there? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Especially for a man who's seeking to produce or is producing. He ain't gonna mess with these scallywag women out here, man. For what? Don't know that. Don't most people in this country, as Saran just stated, nobody wants to be together no more. Nobody don't want to work together to build nothing no more. So what's the purpose of going to look for if nobody is invested in the greater good? That's why you don't have a community, because nobody's invested in the greater good. Niggas is invested in themselves. Come on back to Psalm 22. Hello, Lizzie. What do you have? Are those peaches? You like peaches? With syrup? Heavy syrup? Oh. I'm in Psalms 22. Verse 10. I mean, this is harsh things, man, but don't get what it is. It's all it is for you to consider. People are going to do what they want to do. But if you wonder why your community is in the state that it's in the state because nobody cares. Nobody cares about anyone other than themselves. And that you can't build a kingdom that way. That's why Yahuah pick and choose who he want in his kingdom. Because he want people who willing to build a kingdom, not people who willing to build themselves. If you ain't willing to build a kingdom, you ain't going to be in the kingdom. Because again, let's go what I'm talking about last night. That in reality, a man is not going to care about your vision over his. Your vision is not going to be equal to his. Because you're supposed to be seeking to build the wealth of the king. When you go, and we might take a look at it, because we got a lot of days coming up to take a look at it. When you look at when the kingdom was being founded, did not all these people come and bring their wealth to be able to build this kingdom? Can you not read that in Exodus? Can you not read that in Leviticus? Do you not see that in Numbers? Do you not see that in the book of Chronicles when David was bringing forth the money to build the house? Do you not recall when he told them in the prophet Haggai that my house is sitting ruined and that's why you got bags with money, but they got holes in them. You got clothes, but you're not warm. You eat and drink, but you're not full. He said, consider your ways because you're not trying to build a kingdom. You're trying to build yourself. How you going to build a kingdom and you ain't thinking about the king? You can't build and say, let me get myself right. Then I'm build a kingdom. He said, my house lay waste and y'all dwelling in sealed houses. What type of junk is that? I mean, you said F the king, and that's why he don't let you prosper. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Haggai chapter 1, verse 5. That nigga don't do a few moves. That nigga that full of crap. Psalm 22:10. He said, I was cast upon you from the womb. You are my Elohim from my mother's belly. Well, what do we know? He said, and you shall call his name what? Yahushua. And he shall sit on the throne of his father David. And he will what? And he will rule. That's what he said, right? Okay, LaJohn said that's what he said. That's what he said then. He said, but not far from me, for trouble is near. There is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me. They gaped upon me with their mouths as a ravening and roaring lion, meaning they spoke against him. I'm poured out like water. All my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted in the midst of my bowels. I'm exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. My strength is dried up like a potsherd. My tongue cleaved to my jaws. You have brought me into the dust of death. This is why he didn't talk. Dogs have compassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They have pierced my hands and my feet. I may tell all my bones. They look and stare upon me. They part my garments among them. They cast lots for my vesture. Y'all already know all that. That's the easy stuff. Be not far from me, O Yahuah. O my strength hates to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, for you have heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare your name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise you. That's when he resurrected from the dead and he school. Ye that fear Yahuah, praise him, all you seed of Jacob. Esteem him, fear him, all you seed of Yasharal. He have not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted. Neither have he hid his face from him, but when he cried unto him, he heard him, remember? And he was heard, and that he what, Johnny? You sleep over that, boy? Stayed up all night? Telling lies? Pardon?
He heard, he answered. He answered. He said when he heard him, when he cried.
Mm-hmm. Is that accurate? Is that accurate?
I really don't know what's going on. One, number two.
I'm saying, did he not say he heard him and that he what? He said he was heard and that he what? Fear. That's what theirs help you up. He backed you up on the play. Because you didn't box out.
Hey, you gotta give me a little more context.
Shoot, how much context you want? I gave you the sentence.
It'd be.
Yeah, it is. That boy around here drinking prune juice. You that fear Yahuah, praise him. Verse 23. All you that seed of Jacob, esteem him. Fear him, all you seed of Yasharal. For he have not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, neither have he hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard. My praise shall be of you in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise Yahuah that seek him. Your heart shall live forever. Remember what we read with the meek? Where the prince is eating for strength and not what? Not drunkenness. Listen to this one here, right? At the ends of the world, all the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto Yahuah. All the kindreds of the nation shall worship before you. For the kingdom is Yahuah's. He is the governor among the nations. All they that be fat upon the earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow down before him. None can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation. They shall come and declare his righteousness unto a people that be born, that he have done this. Now look at this here, right? It say he's the king of all the what? What is the king of, little John? Well, don't say king, it say governor. What are you the governor of? Who you rule over?
Yeah, nations.
Everybody. Remember what we read in Revelation 11? Where he said, now all the kingdoms of the earth become whose? They become Yahuah's. Now he got to rule over them. This is what the first thing, that's where they go to war part. The first part in order to establish your kingdom is to establish your rule and dominion. Let's read Revelation 19 before we read Isaiah 60. Where's my money, bro? I said, where is my money? You think I'm going to let you fall, bird? Well, I am if you don't have my money. Revelation 19 and 11. Little children, be quiet and leave that dog alone. Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw Shamahim open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he do judge and make war. His eyes were a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of Elohim. The armies which were in Shamahim followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth go a sharp sword, that he should smite the nations, and that he should rule them with a rod of iron, and tread the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty Elohim. He have on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So he's got to shed blood to establish, set this up. And we talked about this already. Was blood shed to set up the initial kingdom? And whose blood was shed? The Egyptians' blood was shed, but that wasn't even to set up the initial kingdom. That was to get out of their kingdom. Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites. All the Hamite family's blood had to be shed. Everybody had to be shed in order to establish that kingdom. That's it. But that just always tripped me out. Grandma, why you wait old to become a whore? That's it. Hey, I seen a dude review him on a radio station, man. Talking, I don't agree with you calling women whores. He said, ma'am, we're talking about people who say they ain't in the word, not random women. She was stuck on that one now. Because that's what we were talking about. They say, how you in the word? I see your titty split. Booty cheeks. That's right. That nigga say, see the very shape of your birth canal. Why you put that baby up there? Hey, little muffin. Because you know she's going to try to stand up. Isaiah chapter 60. The jump be so funny because a lady in the group that I'm in, she had made a statement. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask y'all this here too while we got time. Because I was talking to my homeboy, listening to a podcast while we were riding to a job site and they mentioned something. And I'm just going to talk to the men on this one. The lady chime in later. Do you brothers believe that women are quicker to vocalize what they don't like than a man? Because that's what the dude on the podcast was saying. That women are swifter to vocalize their displeasure than men are to vocalize their displeasure to them. Like, no, we're talking about in the dynamic of a man with his woman. That if a woman got stuff that she don't like, that she is swifter to voice that than he would be to voice what he don't like.
I feel like men are more. They're more men as in they probably won't come out and say it right then, but women will come out vocally.
Yeah, now this is his other point. The other point the brother made. He was like, in doing this, he said this allows women to believe that they don't make mistakes and that they don't do things that aggravates him. Because his point was, because my homeboy was talking about this here, because the woman he was dealing with eventually got him locked up. Now he's sitting in jail right now, and he might not be able to get out because he got other bonds, and there's people worrying about paying bread, and then they revoke that bond, and that bread go down the drain. But it was dealing with a woman who she was doing stuff that he didn't like, and he wasn't as swift to vocalize that I don't like this here. You know what I'm saying? But what she didn't like, his point is that women are taught to say what you don't like. Say what you don't like. And men don't. And then the dude was like, in regards of doing so, when you do it, it seems as if you're being manipulative because now you're finally expressing, well, I don't like this. And I don't like that. Yeah, and I don't even think it's because of the double. I wouldn't even say that's a double standard because you don't do it often. When you actually do it, it gets perceived differently. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm mentioning that because when you look at Yahuah, people can't talk directly to Yahuah. So the only thing you have is his word of what he likes and what he don't like. And people are very, very quick to vocalize what they don't like about Yahuah, but those who handle the text are not as swift to vocalize what he does not like. Because there was a woman in the group, and she made a strong point. She said, why do men complain about women doing this, that, there, and the third, or having babies? She said, why y'all just won't have sex with them? Then if you're not having sex with them, she can't get pregnant, and the women who are actually any good would actually stand out because these women would have to change their conduct or move along. Now, we done had that conversation before, that if you want women to change their conduct, then you would have to deny them your attention, your resources, and everything that you got going on in order for them to remedy their behavior versus what these niggas do on the internet all day, which is complain about what women doing as if they have this great power. You know what I'm talking about? Doesn't make any sense. Like I say, men ain't swift. They'd be like, man.
I feel like men ain't taught the ways that you would like lay that law down first.
I told the lady that.
That's really what it is.
I told her.
Nigga come into a relationship and she don't even know you like that, and you lay down the rules. She can decide right then what she gonna buy, and then just save both of y'all a bunch of time.
Absolutely.
Then you don't have to feel like getting frustrated because she's not adhering. Because once you told her, that's it.
Absolutely. Now I told the lady her premise was correct. I say, but what you're neglecting in your premise is righteousness, and most people hate it. So that's why you have the problem. Because I'm like, you talking about the will of Yahuah. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, you're going to have to marry, you're going to have to do something. But if nobody, but see, we live in a country that if you went and had sex with this woman, nobody's going to make you marry her. If we was in the land, you was going to marry her. Or you was going to pay her such a large dowry, and then she was going to get given to another man that you wouldn't even want to take that chance, that you would have to come off those level of resources. Could you imagine if you laid with a woman, somebody told you, oh yeah, you got to give, her daddy come and say, you got to give me 10 grand, bro. Because I don't want to give my daughter to you. And now you done brought her fair market value down because you done laid with her, she ain't no virgin no more. You just cost me 10 grand, so I need 10 grand from you. You know what I'm saying? Sleepy Joe ain't gonna come tell you, oh, you knocked that chick down the other night. We need 10 grand. That's not gonna happen. I seen the congregation, I told you about that, boy. Well, they bought that nigga brand new trucks and cash for a dowry. Wasn't even his daughter, allegedly.
Damn. Sheesh.
That was the pastor, allegedly. I don't know if that's true. That was an accusation. That's why I gotta say allegedly. I can't say that that's accurate. But allegedly, this particular pastor was collecting dowries for other men's child. And not breaking bread.
He was arranging the marriage.
He was arranging the marriage.
That's what he was doing, getting the cut.
And getting the cut. Allegedly. I told you about that a couple years back. This is all alleged. I can't verify none of that, so that's alleged. You know what I'm saying? But
Stupid.
no, but see, I'm mentioning that there because when you look at it, right? When you look at the statement of judge not lest you be judged, you'll tell somebody what you don't care for, but could you take it if it returned? So those same people, because remember what did we read in Jude last night? We read it earlier. Ungodly sinners with their ungodly speeches. Now they don't tell you about what Yahuah don't like. Could they take it if it came back? Now I mentioned the natural part of that's to teach young men that if it's something that you don't like, son, say it. Because most of the stuff, what you gonna do, you're gonna let it go. This ties into the text because he said, because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, it's privily in the hearts of sons of men to do evil because he don't come and crack your dome off the top. So that means he ain't saying nothing. So in your mind, you're not making a mistake.
That's what I was saying. That's a difference. You already laid out the expectation, so he's not gonna crash because you already knew what he told you.
You already knew.
So whenever he comes, you know you're in the wrong because you already knew the expectation.
Indeed. I'm mentioning this here because this is the foundation of what you're talking about, setting the expectation early of laying the foundation of the kingdom.
Yeah.
Because there's order, there's rule, and there's standards in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And will the constituents or the servants in the kingdom, are they going to speak against the king, or will they be ready for the king to speak against them? See, there's verses for that. It's what we talking about. It's trumpets anyway. We coming in the tabernacles. Tabernacles is dealing with the coming of the king. We just run the whole king stuff down. We ain't even touched much of what Miles Monroe was talking about.
That was the first thing he said. He said the first thing he said is the mission statement to change your heart and mind to the kingdom.
Well, let's go ahead and read it for him. Matthew 4 and say, he lied. Don't even worry about Isaiah 60. We finna get off here. Y'all willing, we coming back tomorrow night anyway.
What's that? What happened? What happened? Yeah, you're not speaking on what happened.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 17. I'm going to read it in two of them. Matthew 4 and 17. Look what he says. From that time, Yahushua began to preach, repent, the dominion of heaven is at hand. The rule of Elohim is at hand. He said the first thing you would be able to come into this rule of heaven is you're going to have the mind of heaven. Hold on. Come to Mark. Come on over here to Mark. Let's look at what he said in Mark. Come on now. Mark 1 and 15. Then we might look in Luke. Maybe even John. And then we're going to end in Colossians 3. Let's see. Run it down. Mark 1 and 14. Now, after that, John was put in prison. Yahushua came into Galilee preaching the gospel and the dominion and rule of Elohim. Saying the time is fulfilled, the dominion and rule of Elohim is at hand. Turn you and believe the good news. So that means in order for you to be a part of this dominion and rule, there has to be a change in the way that you think. You can't come into a dominion and rule that you are unaccustomed to being a part of and thinking the way that you thought when you was in bondage. Because you come in and son, you want to be freeborn. See, you can't deal with a freeborn man like you dealing with a slave nigga. You can't do that. How you gonna deal with the son of a king? Deal like you dealing with a free man, like you dealing with a slave nigga. That don't make no sense. I don't even think he step up and tell them boys believe the gospel over here. I don't think he do. He don't. He don't. Come over here to John. He don't do it in there. He might not even do it in John. Yeah, he ain't tell. He just told him Matthew, Mark. That's it. That's all you need. Colossians 3 and 1. That's all you need. And again, right? That's what I told you last night and a little bit on Wednesday. You wonder why people don't have success with the word is because their minds have not changed. You ain't changed the way that you think. See, when you change the way that you think, that means that changes the way that you react. That changes the way that you act. It changes how you perceive situations and circumstances. I told you this before. If you run across situations and circumstances and you find yourself reacting the way that you've always reacted, your mind has not changed. Your mind has not changed. That is the only way that you can get the mind of Mashiach. Your mind has to change. You can't view life and situations and circumstances the same. because you're not going to get it. That's why you got to be born again. Remember, I asked you that last night. What you need, a heart transplant. You got to have a new heart and a new spirit to be able to enter into there, because you're going to have to view life differently. Colossians 3:1. If you then be risen with Mashiach, seek those things which are above, where Mashiach sit on the right hand of Elohim. Set your affections on the things above and not on the things on the earth, for you are dead and your life is hid with Mashiach. When Mashiach, who is our life, shall appear, you shall appear also with him in his esteem. Because if your mind is in heaven, then guess what you have? You have the kingdom of heaven, because you have the dominion and rule of Elohim, meaning that he has dominion and rule in your heart, which means you're going to lead with judgment, mercy, and faith. You're going to lead with service. Things of that sort. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We'll stop right there for now. I appreciate y'all, man. I bless y'all. Al Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Yahuah willing, we'll pick this up on tomorrow evening for observation of trumpets. We'll begin at 8:30. I appreciate y'all time this evening again. And again, bless not Al Elohim. We just gonna keep on rolling. I'm talking. You're rude. We're gonna keep on rolling, talking about the things in regard to a king and the things that pertain to his kingdom. And that's what we're going to do, man. But I appreciate y'all time this afternoon, man. So, Yahuah willing, to the next time. Come here, Pop. Yes.